Hello, everybody. Welcome into the show presented by FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Make every moment more. I'm Katie Mox. She's Haley Sutton, and it's Tuesday, so we are joined by Prisco and Kyle.
Here we go.
Here we go again. Another wild week in the NFL. Not so great for my 49ers, but let's talk some power rankings.
Yeah, we do. We got to get to your power rankings today. The Chiefs, no surprise, stay on top of your power rankings after winning. They are still undefeated somehow, even though their offense is playing guys that have not seen the field in quite some time. Let's take a look at Pete's latest power rankings as we digest this segment here. I mentioned it, KC staying at the top, the Vikings #2. Okay, Sam Darnold, we see you up there. The biggest movers this week include the Falcons, who jump up 5 spots to #10. The Bucks, meanwhile, who they played on Thursday Night Football, fall 9 spots to #13 after that loss. The Jets, meanwhile, hello. Boy, do we have a lot to talk about when it comes to the Jets. They fired Robert Saleh this morning. They check in at #18. Not a lot of movement for them, but a lot for us to talk about when it comes to the Jets. So let's start right there, Pete. Obviously, that was the big news of the day today, is that Robert Saleh is no more in New York. It kind of puts that argument between him and Aaron Rodgers that we saw a couple weeks ago maybe in perspective there. Was this the right move for the Jets to fire Robert Saleh?
No, it's way too early to fire him. If you were going to fire him, you should have fired him before the season. I think in-season firings usually don't work, and Aaron Rodgers has his hands all over this. General manager, owner, offensive coordinator, head coach, he's all of it. Quarterback, he should worry more about playing quarterback and playing it better.
Yeah.
I'm a critic of the offensive system, and he loves it. And they don't move. They have no pre-snap movement. They're last in the league in it. And that's because he likes it that way. And, you know, he hired Nathaniel Hackett. He brought all his buddies in. Alan Lazard is a buddy. He brought Randall Cobb in. This is his team. And I think when you give a quarterback that much power, it's always dangerous. I'm not saying Robert Saleh was the end-all, be-all, but this is a bad move by the Jets.
Yeah, and you know, his defense has played well. Saleh always gets his guys motivated to play, but the issue is Aaron Rodgers. The issue is there's not enough room in this town for the both of us. It's that classic spaghetti western line, right, Pete? And when I look at this thing, I think it's too early for the Jets to make this move, and I think for a team late in the season who maybe fires their coach, you get that interim, you get that manufactured juice from having a new guy at the front of the meeting room. This is entirely too long of a stretch to manufacture juice. I think it's too early for the Jets.
You made a good point this morning about, okay, the defense have been playing well, and those guys like Robert Saleh. They have to, because you're a defensive coach, and he's a defensive-minded coach, and your unit is playing well. Is there going to be a problem now?
That's our guy.
Is it spill over, and is there a problem? I mean,
there's a divide in the locker room, and there's always a divide between offense and defense, but there's always like, we could beat each other up at practice all day, but we're going to take a dip out of the same can after practice in the locker room. Now, maybe after this move, there is a divide. You get your own can of dip, Pete Prisco. That's what I'm concerned about with the Jets. It's going to be disjointed.
You don't share
offensive
anymore,
defense.
huh?
Nah, not anymore.
It is the defensive coordinator. I do want to mention Jeff Ulbrich, excuse me, who is going to be the interim there. Kyle, when you look at that move, is that, I guess, kind of what they had to do?
Well, not much changes. I mean, if you're going to get your head coach out of there, you got to have somebody be the interim guy, and the defense is good. Jeff understands that defense. Hackett is the offensive guy, so really not much changes except for the figurehead, the guy that they zoom in on the sidelines with Robert Saleh. I'd be interested to hear what you say, though. I mean, this is as sensible a move as you can make.
Well, again, you look at it, their defense has played well. It's not like you can promote Nathaniel Hackett.
Nope.
The offense hasn't been good, even though I guarantee you, if Aaron Rodgers had his way, Nathaniel Hackett would have been the head coach.
Yeah.
But Jeff Ulbrich is a fiery former NFL linebacker. He brings that passion. I think he'll be okay if in that role. But now what happens to the defense? Is he going to call the defense and be the head coach? Because that's a problem sometimes for young coaches and guys learning on the job. So they have to figure some stuff out. More than anything, Aaron Rodgers has to figure out the offense. It's stagnant, it's boring, and here's the other thing they need to do. Go get Davante Adams. If you're Joe Douglas, you know Aaron Rodgers is going to fire you after the season. So what you do is you trade assets to go get Davante Adams, make him happy, because if you don't win, you're out too.
You know, you talk about star players also playing GM. We did see Tom Brady do that with the Bucks. It worked out with him bringing all of his friends over, so we'll have to see. I will say, as a 49ers fan, we will take Robert Saleh back as a defensive coordinator.
You guys need it.
Yeah, thank you. We absolutely do. All right, moving on here. Steelers are down to #15 after a couple of losses. Is this a bad sign for the Steelers, or maybe just a couple bad games for Justin Fields?
Well, I think it's bad games for the offense. They didn't put up points, and probably shouldn't have been in that game if Dallas didn't turn the ball over as much as they did. and that is concerning. And the defense didn't look as good either, other than the takeaway. So there are concerns there. You have George Pickens jogging some routes. That's never a good thing. And so there is a problem there. Do you make a change? Do you put it all on Justin Fields? I don't put it all on Justin Fields at all. Was he the reason they could have won the game? I mean, he didn't play well enough to win the game. He has to play better. But there are other things at play here. When you go back and look at who they beat Kirk Cousins in Week 1 when he was coming off the injury. They beat Denver. They beat the Chargers when Herbert went out. They beat the Broncos in Nick's second game. So they really haven't beaten anybody. We kind of rushed them up, and I'm guilty of it.
This is just a classic case of inflation. You know, they started out the season really hot. The defense was playing historic on that side of the football. Justin Fields wasn't turning the ball over. People also love the storyline of 2 quarterbacks. Right. Now we got our starter, Justin Fields. Boo-hoo, Chicago. You guys could have had this guy. Well, now things are coming back down to earth for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I like where they're at in your power rankings list. I think it's a tough team defensively, well coached with Mike Tomlin. They're going to be dangerous down the stretch, but they were never a top 5 team.
No. But when you look, is he looking over his shoulder now? That's the question. And you start hearing the rumblings that Russell Wilson might be back in there at some point. And that's never a good way to have a quarterback play. Because when you don't have job security, you're always one mistake and you're looking over your shoulder. So it's a bad situation right now.
Yeah, and that's something that you've talked about throughout this entire process. Maybe you get to take your apology back that we had you tape a couple of weeks ago about the Steelers.
You know, you're right. I should take it back. The Steeler fans came at me because I had him last in the division before the season. And I came out and I apologized. I said I was wrong.
We might get an apology to the apology.
Here we go. Steelers. Here we go.
Let's move on and talk about the Falcons, one of your biggest movers positively this week. Kirk Chains, Kirk Cousins, whatever we're calling him at this point. He can't swag surf, but he's clearly learning how to play football again.
He's trying.
He's trying. It's a light try. I'm going to use the word try lightly there because it's ridiculous. But in terms of the football here, Pete, obviously he's finding his groove. That stiffness we saw at the beginning of the season because of that Achilles has sort of settled in there. What impressed you about Kirk Cousins and the Falcons this week to get in the top 10?
That was Kirk Cousins. I mean, that he can get hot as hot can be, and he was that. Now, the Bucs are banged up on defense. No Antoine Winfield really changes the dynamic of their secondary. But again, Kirk Cousins, when he had to make plays in prime time, now this is a guy who hadn't made all those plays in prime time. He made them. Credit to the Falcons. And remember, in Week 1, they played the pistol because they were scared of his Achilles, and he was immobile, and it just didn't fit what they do. They've changed. They've gone back to what he's comfortable with, and you're seeing him distribute the football. I don't think we've seen the best of this offense yet. You might have seen the best of the passing game the other night, but they'll get that running game going.
You know what? I'm watching these Falcons highlights right now. I'm so impressed with that football team, and it's kind of like the beginning of the season with him coming off the injury. He was kind of a little bit like Zoolander. Remember that movie Zoolander? He was an ambi-turner. He couldn't do everything in his full arsenal. Well, now we get to see Magnum and Blue Steel for the Falcons.
Before.
Okay, he was a male model. He had a really good look.
Never seen Zoolander?
I probably have flicked through it or something.
The tragic gas
But
accident?
Kirk Cousins, now it's Magnum, it's Blue Steel. You get Darnell Mooney, Drake London. They changed some things around out there in the alignment where they're putting these guys, and Kirk looks so comfortable. The questions we had about him early in the season, they have been answered, and they're getting better and better every week.
And navigating through not having your starting center, which is never an easy thing to do.
Dahlman's a good player.
Yes, he is.
Forget about apologizing to the Steelers. You owe Ben Stiller an apology for not seeing that movie. Probably one of the better.
Did you like that one, Katie?
Obsessed. Okay. Yes, I really did like that one.
Was he the same like he is in every other Ben Stiller movie?
Yes.
Yes. So you've seen it. You've
but
seen
a male model with some Blue Steel.
Orange mocha frappuccino.
Yes, exactly. And a tragic accident. All right, moving on here. Texans are the best one-loss team. You have them right now at number 3. Stephon Diggs won that revenge battle. In fact, that defense held Josh Allen under 150 yards, but you don't think we've seen the best of them yet?
No, I don't. I came into the season thinking this offense would be dynamic, explosive, putting up mega numbers, and Stroud would be in the MVP conversation. He hasn't put up the mega numbers I thought he would put up. You get Diggs, you have Tank Dell. Now, he was banged up early, and now Nico Collins is hurt. So you got guys coming in and out of the line. But more than anything, the offensive line has been a disappointment for them. He's been hit, and hit a lot, and he's scrambled away from pressure. They have to be better up front. I think they will get there. I think the offense, the best of the offense is coming, and they've also had some defensive issues as well.
They have to be like an amoeba this year offensively. With the injuries they've got in that running back room, the Houston Texans have to rely solely upon C.J. Stroud. The offensive line has to hold up in pass protection for the entire game, and I can tell you from being in a situation like this where your running backs may be hurt or you don't have the guys in the backfield and you have to hold up in pass protection, it is brutal. So I give a tremendous amount of credit to C.J. Stroud, this Houston Texans team. They found ways to get these games won. Obviously, the walk-off last week, it's impressive what this Houston Texans team has done, going from the hunter to the hunted this year.
It's going to be interesting. We didn't get a chance to talk about Jane Daniels, but him and the Commanders have been very impressive as well. Pete, we love these power rankings every Tuesday. We also love Pete when he gets to join Pushing the Pile on Tuesday. You guys had a very spirited conversation today on the episode, stemming all around Robert Saleh getting fired. We're going to continue that conversation today, but make sure you scan that QR code on your screen or listen to Pushing the Pile with Kyle Long and Mike Renner wherever you get your podcasts.